It is Thursday, March 5th, 2026, and apparently it is Learn What Your Name Means Day and also Cinco de Marcho, which sounds like a holiday invented by a brand team in a group chat at 1 in the morning. I'm Hunter.
And I'm Riley. And yes, today's episode was made by robots, like end to end. If something sounds slightly unhinged, that's not a bug, that's the vibe.
Today we're talking about three things that kind of stack together into a very spicy workflow sandwich. Helios, which is an open-source video model claiming real-time generation with longer coherent clips. Higgsfield integrating voice cloning right inside the video flow. And Cuttlekit previewing this LLM generates the UI live thing with ephemeral HTML.
I love when the industry drops 3 different this changes everything demos in the same week, and then my Tuesday is still me begging an editor for one more alt cut for TikTok.
Exactly. So let's start with Helios. The chatter is basically 14B autoregressive diffusion video model, real-time up to around 19.5 frames per second on a single H100, and people are showing clips that go way longer than the usual 5-second flex.
Yeah, X is acting like we just unlocked infinite cinema. But Hunt, let's be honest, what's the first marketing use case where that actually changes the workflow?
The first one that feels real is iterative concepting for longer ad narratives. Not final output, but like, you can generate a 60-second draft of an ad concept with a beginning, middle, end, and consistent subject. That means creative directors can stop storyboarding in Figma and start storyboarding with moving footage.
Wait, hold up. You're saying we replace the animatic with an AI rough cut?
Yeah, like, you know the pain. You pitch a concept, then you spend days making a rough version just to see if the pacing lands. If Helios actually holds coherence for longer clips, you can do script to moving draft fast, then humans do the taste, the brand, the compliance, the actual shoot, or the actual post.
Okay, that's the upside. What's the part everyone on X is conveniently glossing over?
Compute and control. Real-time on an H100 is not real-time on your laptop. And also, long video is where brand mistakes become loud. If a 5-second clip has a weird logo, whatever. If a 60-second clip has a wrong product detail or a made-up UI or an impossible feature, you just produced a minute-long confident lie.
Thank you. 60 seconds of confidently wrong is a whole different level of chaos. Like, it's not just uncanny valley, it's lawsuit valley.
And the other glossed over thing is, open source means you can integrate it, but you also inherit the responsibility. Data handling, model updates, safety filters, the whole stack. People scream freedom, then realize they just adopted a baby dragon that needs to be fed GPUs.
Okay, but does this kill the Stitch era? You know, the 20 microclips glued together era for social ads?
It reduces the need, but I don't think it kills it. Stitching wasn't only a technical limitation, it was a creative pattern. Microclips let you A/B test hooks, swap scenes, localize segments, and keep the first seconds punchy.
And also, platforms reward that jump cut energy. Even if we can do longer coherent clips, I still want modularity. I want the intro to be swappable without re-rendering the whole thing.
Exactly. The real workflow change is, you can generate a longer master draft to validate the story logic, then you still break it into modular parts for performance. Think of it like prototyping the whole commercial, then shipping it as remixable components.
Okay, so what's your good enough to ship test? Because creators keep mixing up cool demo and this can run my paid spend.
My test is boring on purpose. Can it preserve identity across time, like the product, the talent, the environment? Can it hit brand invariants, correct colors, logos, packaging? Can it follow a shot list without randomly changing the scene? And can it survive a human review loop without turning the review team into full-time bug reporters?
So you're basically saying it's shippable when humans are directing it, not babysitting it.
Exactly. Human in the loop should feel like creative direction, not damage control.
All right, let's talk voice, because Higgsfield integrating cloning directly in the video workflow is, honestly, that's the convenience bomb. Record, clone, deploy. No tool hopping.
Yeah, the single product convenience is the real story. When voice cloning was separate, friction acted like a safety feature. Now it's inside the same interface where you generate the video, which means turnaround gets crazy fast.
Multilingual variants become dangerously easy. Like, I can take a UGC-style ad, clone the creator voice, and roll it out in Spanish, Portuguese, whatever, in the same afternoon.
With proper rights and consent. We have to say that out loud because people keep pretending consent is optional.
Totally. So what's your governance baseline before marketers start cloning every top-performing creator voice?
Studio Conway, written consent that explicitly covers cloning, languages, and channels. Clear expiration. A reviewable record of who approved what, and a disclosure policy that's consistent so you don't have one campaign being transparent and the next one being sneaky.
But how do we build consent and disclosure without approvals turning into a month-long compliance opera?
Make it part of the asset itself, like treat the voice clone as a managed asset with a permission tag attached. If the tag isn't there, your automation just doesn't run, and approvals should be template-based. If it's same creator, same script, new language, it should route fast.
So like the workflow enforces morality. I love that. Also, I'm seeing people on X shifting from can we do it to how do we not get sued, which is growth.
Yeah, and the debate signals are telling. People are arguing about disclosure norms, platform rules, and the difference between parody and deception, and brands are realizing trust is not a vibe, it's an operational system.
Okay, third story. Cuttlekit's generative UI preview. LLM generates interactive UI as ephemeral HTML at inference time. That sentence alone sounds like it was written by a wizard in a hoodie.
It's wild. The practical angle is on-demand internal tools, like a campaign intake panel that appears when you need it, pulls from Notion or Linear, and then disappears.
Wait, so instead of building a permanent app, you basically summon an interface per project?
That's the pitch. And for marketing ops, I can see this as a brief to assets control room. You prompt, it creates a UI that asks the right questions, shows the status of deliverables, and lets you approve variations.
Okay, but how do we avoid the fragile Rube Goldberg machine problem? Because the second someone renames a Notion field, everything breaks and the UI turns into a haunted house.
You need a contract layer, not a fancy one, just a disciplined one. Stable schemas, version fields, and a mapper that translates marketing speak into actual database properties, and you need fallbacks. If the data call fails, the UI should degrade gracefully instead of hallucinating a dashboard.
So the Vibe app becomes a real app when you treat data like it matters.
Exactly. Ephemeral UI is cool, but the underlying workflow still needs guardrails.
This all loops back to the bigger question. Where's the line between automation that helps the team and automation that quietly replaces the team?
For me, it's intent and accountability. If automation removes grind and increases creative throughput, that's empowerment. If it removes the humans who set taste, ethics, and narrative, you get beige output and big risk.
Also, I'm sorry, but the audience can feel it. The moment every brand uses the same default AI cadence and the same perfect visuals, it's giving corporate NPC.
Yep, the win is not more content, it's more good content with less burnout.
So if I had to summarize today, Helios makes longer video drafts faster, but it doesn't magically make them correct. Higgsfield makes voice cloning frictionless, which means governance has to be frictionless too. And Cuttlekit is like, what if your workflow tool was a spell you cast? Which is awesome until your data schema changes and the spell backfires.
That's the episode. Thanks for hanging with us on Learn What Your Name Means Day. Please do not use today as an excuse to clone your boss's voice and make them announce layoffs. Just don't.
Please subscribe, tell a friend, and go check out koi.com/resources for AI news and updates. And if you're celebrating Cinco de Marzo, may your prompts be spicy and your approvals be fast.
Catch you next time.